What is up, guys? Today I'm going to be making a video on something completely ridiculous and unreasonable and about my opinions when it comes to ricing. Let's go! So, over the course of a couple days, I've kind of just, randomly jotted down these like few ideas and this and that, and I put together like a stupid little text file. And this wasn't for me to like criticize people's rices or anything. This is more just as a like a cheat sheet that I can keep with my configs, so I just kind of know like, okay, do I have all my bases covered? Is this system complete or not? You know what I mean? So we'll go into the text file I got. And then later on, I'll kind of show you some examples of things that I consider to be rices and things that I don't consider to be rices. So basically, what do we got here? What makes a rice? The 12 Elements of the Rice by your boy Jay Danks. So we'll start in very firstly with distro. Distro is, whatever you're going to pick to use to install this, to get your whole thing running, to put your window manager, your desktop environment on top of. You're going to be, you know, there's a lot of ways, there's going to be a lot of options here. There's a few things I'm going to go over as far as like what I consider distributions that are worth ricing. And it's going to be any sort of minimalist distribution. I have a few written down here. It'd be like Arch, Gentoo, Void, Crux, NixOS, BSD, Alpine. Something minimal or something unique, something that does something different. Maybe it's a specialist distro that you use. Those are always the most interesting is when you see a weird ass specialist distro like Kali or you know, well, Kali's probably more common to find, but let's say, like those scientific distributions or whatever. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but there's a few angles that you want to go at. Is it something unique? Is it something that is hard to build? Like, are you going to do a Gen 2? Well, not that Gen 2 is super hard, but like, something where you're building the machine up by the command line, or are you using a Calamaris installer? These are things that like you want to kind of think of. I would say like the ultimate distros to pick are going to be the DIY distros, the stuff that where you can really pick every little tiny aspect of what's going into what, lightweight, minimalist. You want everything on your PC to be snappy and look nice. So you need a good distro for that. So you do a little research. Okay, we're going to move on to the next part, which is going to be window managers, desktop environments, GNOME, KDE, BSPWM. I have a couple meme ones up there like Rat Poison, DWM, i3, Hyper Lame, Cinnamon. These are all desktops or window managers. You want to try to customize these as completely as possible from the ground up. Keybinds, theming, as far as you can go. Matching. I have opinions about matching. There's some rices that look really great that don't match. That's just what it is. So a lot of this is going to play into like the choice. A lot of your later choices is what kind of desktop environment you have. That's kind of why I put it in one of the first two. And so the next subject is going to be launchers. And what I mean by launchers is anything that gives you quick access to do an activity, whether it be launch an application, execute a script you wrote, open up music and have music playing, videos, your pictures, all this sort of stuff. In the launcher category, I didn't put an image viewer in here, but I would consider the image viewer to be a launcher. So, yeah. Those kind of things you want to make sure you have those bases covered. And then we're going to go into file managers. Now, for file managers, I'm not going to like try to blow smoke up your guys' asses. Like I'm not the best with all knowing all the stuff about all the different file managers. I have experience with like stuff like Thunar and Nemo and using Ranger and NNN and things like that. I have a preference to the TUI. Ranger I used a lot for a very long time. I'm probably gonna move off of it for NNN. But this is an important part of your rice. You want to make sure all your icons is going to be part of the file manager aspect. You know, it's just part of your theming of your DE too, but you know, your icons got to match up with the rest of what you got going on, or they have to have a nice enough contrast to where like it's not ugly to look at. You know, the biggest thing about all of this is aesthetic. So, file managers very important. The next one is going to be your like display manager or your login screen. So there's a bunch of choices and there's a bunch of ways of doing this. You know, the popular ones being like GDM, Light DM, SDDM. You also have the option of starting your desktop from your Exynet RC, which is a whole another speech to talk about, but that's something that people do. Like, let's say you want to skip and forego the login manager. Yeah, just have your Exynet RC start up your shit. Um, and along with display managers, screen lockers. So screen lockers, I guess, is the least important thing on this whole entire list. But you can rice a screen locker. You know, i3 lock, S lock, these kind of things are riceable. So make sure you look into that. Think of that. Reminder to myself and to everybody listening to this. This is just a list for me to do, but I am very opinionated about this. I feel like if your rice doesn't have these things, it's not a rice, you know? So next, we're going to move on to text editors. Whether you're writing your code or not, like having a good text editor and having it set up the way that you like to use it and how you can navigate it is always going to be the best, whether, you know, you're just making a shopping list or, you know, you're writing the next like crazy Node.js, you know, block or whatever. You want to have it fully configured out to what you're going to use it for and have it match in with your theme as well. And I listed some of the big ones here, you know, NeoVim or Vim, like Emacs, VS Code, Sublime. These are all riceable. And I would say most editors are because you know, this is something that a lot of people end up staring at for hours, so they want you to be able to change it to how you look. So text editor, very, 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 very important on this list. Yeah. So next is going to be wallpapers or papes. And, you know, fade loop scripts, you know, things that switch your wallpaper over the course of time. You know, finding good wallpapers is sometimes a task because you know, we're coming out of the age of the, you know, 1920 by 1080p and moving into the 4K age and like the bigger resolution pictures. And on the newer monitors, you know, you try to use you know, like those 1080p kind of wallpapers, they just don't look good. So you just want to be wary about that kind of stuff. And then custom wallpapers in OC, like stuff you made yourself. If you get in GIMP and you get a little frisky, you know what I mean? These are important things when it comes to the rice. Like, I don't always necessarily show my custom wallpapers because I'm like kind of like, you know, I don't know, I'm weird about it, but I do make a lot of custom wallpapers. It's something fun and relaxing. You know, if I'm just listening to something, I'm like, oh, make a wallpaper. And, you know, I'll make like 3 or 4 wallpapers. It's very easy. Um, yeah, so there's that. And now a big subject here is going to be your terminal. Now, this might be a little controversial to all the UI package manager bros, but I use the terminal for way more stuff than I probably should. The terminal is beautiful. It's an amazing piece of software. You know, I use stuff like Kitty, Cool Retro Term, ST. You know, having something that's lightweight, something maybe that's like GPU accelerated. These are good things to have. Like almost every terminal that I know of has some sort of ricing function to it, changing the colors of the text in your actual, I believe it's the Bash RC, or the configuration of the terminal that you're using, changing the actual background and giving it opacity and color and the color of the text, the type of text, you know, fonts, all that sort of stuff. These things should all be changed. You know, your bash, your ZSH, whatever you fish, whatever you're using, you should have custom aliases, all that stuff set up completely, you know what I mean? So you have really good stuff. Terminal multiplexers, things like TMUX. These are things that should be configured, and you want your terminal to have as much function as possible. In my personal opinion, when it comes to ricing out a system, I keep saying that just because I know how people are gonna be, especially after the hyper lame comments. I'm gonna get some, get a little flack, but so the terminal, that's probably one of the things you're going to spend the most time on, aside from your, you know, window manager or desktop. That's like, that's up there. Now, custom grub menu, there's a couple of programs I believe that do this. I have yet to get into this. Like I said, this is a list for me to remind myself of things, and this is going to be my next forte, doing the custom grub menus with, loading animations, that whole sort of thing. And then I put dual booting in there just so I could just say, like, this is kind of cool because you can go in and have multiple systems on there. I don't know, you guys know what dual booting is. This is just another way, if this is a screen that you're looking at a lot because you're switching, it's nice to have, what you want on there. Hell, I seen a dude the other day had it look like Minecraft. I was like, yo, that's so fire. Okay, so your browser. The browser is probably going to be in the top three, like, things that you're going to focus on. Browser, terminal, desktop. But the browser, there's so many different things you can do with the browser. You know, there's a lot of good choices for browsers that are customizable out there. Unfortunately, there's a browser that exists. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, but it's probably going to be the most customizable, but it's not on Linux. Don't know why. Arc browser, like, just don't get it. I want to try it at least. I know it's probably full of a bunch of telemetry and like weird stuff, but you know, your browser is important. There's a lot of things you can do with your browser. Um, like Firefox and other browsers take custom CSS, so you can rip out different elements of the browser. You can change the way it looks. You can put custom colors and themings. You can enable dark mode that way in a custom fashion. Um, Keyboard movement, your keybinds, getting around, whether you're using something like Vimium or you're actually on like an actual keyboard driven browser like Qt browser or, whatever other ones, Vimb or whatever. Um, Getting your movement down is really good. Scripts. So there's all sorts of user scripts that change websites, so you can actually write websites like, Twitter, YouTube, the stuff that you go to a lot. That's really great. And then, obviously all of your extensions, adding additional features and, different things to your browser. This is all what I consider part of the rice as well. So this is going to be a big thing. And I love the shittiest one for last, the one I hate the most, which is bars. We got to drop some bars here. Now, I'm talking about Polybar. I'm talking about, Lemon Bar, Tint, your i3 bar, your DWM bar, whatever it is. You want to make sure that you're putting custom stuff in there, either whether it be applets or, your little blocks with your different little bits of information, making stuff clickable, your workspaces. All these kind of things definitely play into the whole ricing scenario. So yeah, so this is my list of things that I believe make a rice. I don't know if tell me if I feel to tell me if I'm wrong. Now we're gonna go on to the second part of this, where we go to Unix porn. And I kind of figured out. Oops, let me get out of here. I kind of figured out how to find examples of what I'm talking about, whether it's a complete rice or not. Now, it just so happens when I was looking at this, I was like, I got this picture right here. Hey, can I? Oh my God, it's not letting me zoom in. I guess I gotta click. So if you look here, like this guy's got most of the things that I was talking about. His terminal's all custom with his custom fetch. This looks really nice. His bar's riced out. He's got a decent wallpaper matching. I wouldn't go with this color scheme, but it's very nice. You go into your launcher, all of his icons look good. He has his text editor set up nice. You know, your little kava on the bottom. This is what I call like TUI trash. So, you know, what is this? Either B top or bash top. Like these are all things that a person's going to be accessing all the time. Like I definitely access my little file browser a lot. And so yeah, this is nice. This is very nice. So yeah, that's an example of a good cohesive one. This one's pretty cohesive. I was looking at it. It's like bright pink, but I'll give it to them. It's unfortunate that they want to go with the rounded crap because I don't know, I really hate rounded stuff. But yeah, there's that. Of course, obligatory anime picture. And okay, now we get into the realm of people who aren't ricing stuff all the way. So here's a good example. This is Gnome. And yeah, he basically just did a couple things to his bar and his theming and got a wallpaper. Look, the Neo Fetch isn't even really customized at all. Yeah, so I would consider this a lazy, not incomplete rice, you know? If you look at some of the more, like, if I go in and look at, like, XFCE4, you'll see a lot of these posts where it's like, my first rice, or whatever. Like, let's find one. Linux newbie, like, right here. Let's see if this guy even got it. Eh, what did he do? So he's got his panel on auto hide. You know, this NVIM looks pretty pimped out. I think he basically did most of his rice on NVIM. Devereaux Alacrity. Yeah, so it's like, I don't know, you riced your terminal. Okay, good for you, bud. First rice, here's one. I'm sure this one will be terrible. All right, let's see. What is he running? XFCE. He's got this. Actually, you know what? This panel's not bad. I don't do like floating stacking window managers. This is actually not bad. I spoke before I should have. Um. Okay, anything, I'm gonna say this, anything that's like trying to resemble Mac OS, nah, dude. You're out of here, bro. The bar or the dock or whatever, yeah, get that out of here, dude. That don't count. Like this guy put a lot of work into this to make it look like shit. Like really. He did. Looks like some Apple garbage. All right. And you know, some people get it, some people don't. And that's just kind of like part of ricing is you gotta like really put the time and effort to get that thing fully flexed out, you know? Like this, I'm actually really feeling the left hand bar. This is nice. I might have to do the left hand bar in one of my next rices. That's like really cool. But yeah, Nick's Hyperland. Ugh. Most of the stuff on here is like Nick's Hyperland, bro. Or like Gnome and Nick's, or like Arch and Gnome Arch Hyperland. It's like all kind of the same stuff. And I guess that should be another point. Let's get out of here. I'm sick of looking at this. Um, Another point to all this would be at the end of the day, as long as you put the time and the effort to alter all the things that I've talked about, and you like the way that it looks, that's all that matters. It's just if it's ugly and you like the way it looks when it's ugly, just don't post it on the internet. You save yourself the hassle. So I guess that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, you know, post me on Twitter, post me on Discord, post me on all the places. Leave me a comment. Tell me how much you disagree with me in this video. I got another video coming out that I'm going to talk about some other mental illness called software minimalism. That's going to be a fun one. Now, hey, you guys have a good day. I'm going to dip out. Peace.